Yo, what is up? So today we're gonna play the Stanley Parable. Hope you're gonna enjoy this. English. Confirm. Yes, I have. I've played these games before. Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. Okay. Enter the current time. Okay. It's like free. Okay, let's get a perfect timing. Okay, wait for it, wait for it. Wait for the time. Low time. Okay, come on. Haha. Okay. Okay. Let us begin. Beep.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Well, that's depressing.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
It seems as if I'm schizophrenic now, so I mean, that's
all of
cool.
His co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
4B6. Which office is that? Nice. I did something. These computers can turn off.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office.
Hey, stop narrating
how hard
everything I
Stanley
do.
looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Just let me turn off computers, man.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I trust actual people, not voices in the air.
A room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Oh, I can... Oh.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on
Okay.
creepy. But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing
Okay,
room.
stop judging
and took
me.
the first open door on his
Stop
left
judging
to get back to
me.
business.
Now.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I'm tired of you.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot.
You don't
here.
even know me.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Ugh.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult.
Well, yeah, because
but
you're a
the
voice
fact
in the
is
air.
that the story has been about nothing but you.
And you don't sound like
But in
God.
his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Stop roasting me.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ooh, awaiting input, I see.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Fine, we'll follow your instructions.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
What was it? Oh, Nah, not really. I'm not special. Anyways, broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom
I've made
closet.
choices that
No
end
reason
here,
to
so
still be here.
I mean, the reason why is to pester you. Definitely not God
It was
person.
baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why?
Because I can.
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
The Bible says I have free will.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
I wish I had some to talk about Stanley Parable.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Explain the situation I'm in, then. Other than schizophrenia.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed in front of your screen. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead.
So there's no
they have
point.
fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Hi. Yo, I'm a guy.
Second player, it's good to have you on board. I guarantee you too. Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to.
You know,
Fish,
I'm bored. I'm
Look,
bored.
You can hammer out the detail. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
You know what? I'm bored. I'm really bored. You're boring.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
I'm a monster. You know what? Fine. I'll do your silly little commands.
By simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
It will remain unanswered.
Whoops, nope, never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out. Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office.
Indeed.
Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated.
I know, right?
Keen eye for storytelling that you have. An incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other.
Indeed.
Weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Me too.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
I don't know, he's a genius. I think I'm a narcissist. Anyways.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there.
Me neither.
Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
Me too. Oh hey, it's just the boss's office. I know, right?
Oh my God. It's the boss's office. This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a timeout here for a minute while I process this. Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process.
Milton says you'll never get time to process.
All right. Of course. Going back down
Yippee.
the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean,
I know,
sure,
right?
now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before.
I know.
I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it.
Yeah.
That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making
So
is.
revolutionary.
A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Ironically, this was done repetitively. Anyways, let's. I'm in the UK, okay?
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop.
Oh, really? How can you have any thoughts better than my
It's the
storytelling?
anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense,
Will it be the boss's
the
office?
agony of waiting,
Will it be the boss's
anticipating,
office?
and having to guess, that's the real thrill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting.
Yeah.
Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley,
Yeah.
It seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible.
Yep.
They want big, explosive moments
Michael
flung
Bay
right in their
films.
faces from the very moment that things get started.
That's basically a
Where's the
Michael Bay
tension?
film.
Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters?
Yeah.
Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises?
Yeah.
To have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal.
Yeah.
This is storytelling, Stanley.
Indeed.
What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me,
this guy's
Stanley.
taking his
I want to
sarcasm
have
too
to
much.
think. I want to be engaged and not pandered
Too
to.
far.
We're being
Too
fed such
far.
unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why... Oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning.
Yeah.
They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh, good, we're here.
Hopefully I don't feel prideful.
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
Liv, the guy who went to Mars. How he did it. I bet that's gonna have aliens in it. Yeah, this is definitely gonna get to my head.
Ah, yes. Here it is, just through this door.
This is definitely gonna get to my head.
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
All this just to rub it in. It's so realistic, even some of them are flying. Hello, my name is definitely not Markiplier. My name.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
wait, no.
The door.
Yeah, we're not gonna follow him
All of his
this time.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We're not gonna follow him this time. We're
Stanley
going to
came
get
to a
into
set of two open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
I really do.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
You know, what's in here? Hey, what's that?
So he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Oh man, I can't close the door. Anyways. Lift. Lift!
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left. Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
Oh my goodness, what did I just see?
It's all rubbish now. The story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to solve this and this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When
more choices.
What? No, I restarted.
This is
I
the
swear I
best new
definitely
update ever.
restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors?
No.
Did you move
Why are you
the
asking
story
me?
somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you?
Yeah.
I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago.
Yeah, it was.
I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Indeed. This is the backgrounds. Okay, this is gonna get boring fast. Was I here before?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again. But it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Can we break the window?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. Oh, man.
Okay, yep, it's worse.
Yeah.
I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Okay.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building.
Well, now we're in it again.
Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Yay!
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Oh. Okay. This isn't fun.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's
Okay,
over
fine.
in
Let's
this
trust the
direction.
line.
Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
Yeah. Let's
Here's a
get
thought.
to destiny.
Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we
we're having
implying
an
a
existential
journey
crisis.
such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very
Well, the line seems to
manifestation
be
of the
making the most
nature of life
progress,
itself?
I mean.
Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact
Okay, the
a
line's gone drunk
byproduct
now.
of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside
having
of your
existential
subjective
crisis.
experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. that got a bit weird back there.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to apologize.
Don't have an
Not sure
existential
where I was
crisis.
going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Wait, cut the music. Go back
come on.
and look at that fern.
Come on.
Stanley,
That was
this
epic.
fern will be very important later in the story.
No, it's not.
Make sure you study it closely.
It was artificially
and remember
planted.
it carefully.
What's the
You
point?
won't want to miss anything.
I'm,
Wait,
Oh.
what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story?
Line TM.
Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh. Again, Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted
You
you,
betrayed
after
me,
everything
Line.
we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
The line betrayed us. No, we're not following you.
You know what, Stanley? I
Yeah,
say
forget
forget
it.
the adventure line.
Forget
What's
it.
it ever done for us?
Forget it.
We're intelligent
Yeah,
people,
we're gonna
right?
have-
Why can't we make up our own story?
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
exciting, daring, mysterious.
yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
This all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we
Indeed.
simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Okay, I like where this is going.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be?
Oh.
Go wild. Use your imagination.
Not like I
Whatever
have
it
one,
might be,
dude.
Stanley, I'm ready for it.
All my peers discouraged the
Oh, no, not you
imagination.
again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line
DM.
from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it.
My DM.
It should be fine.
Trademark anything that mentions the line. Oh,
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From
Yeah.
here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
okay.
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will
This isn't the
taking
place
the
to have
right
to
door
smoke
lead
cigarettes
us
in the
to
middle
where
of the
we're
night and
going?
comprehend
And since the answer is clearly yes,
and try
then
to
by all
comprehend
accounts,
existence.
the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic.
Yep,
Come,
another victory
Stanley,
for logic.
our
I didn't even listen to a
destiny
single word you
awaits.
said.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes?
Jeez, you're just worse than an
It's
army.
all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I
No.
won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Nuh-uh.
And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know.
Yeah.
I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Oh. The Matrix doesn't want us to
A
break
soft
free.
wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Well, you see, narrator, the thing about revolutionary storytelling, it becomes tradition.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Paper.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He
How'd they
considered
get a
the
car
possibility
down
of
here?
facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And
Yeah,
in such a
I need some
competitive
time to
economy,
think.
why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished?
Yeah, everyone's
His
gonna
boss
think I'm
would he
crazy.
was
Everyone's gonna judge
And
me.
then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Yeah.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense.
None of it. Anyways, I'm
And
gonna
as Stanley
get a
pondered
drink.
this,
Oh
he
man,
began
the
to
vending
make
machine
other
doesn't work.
strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet?
Ah!
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation.
Telling lies
His
to yourself.
co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm
you were
still
happy.
lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Ah.
Then he imagined himself soaring
I
through
saw
space
multiple
on a
people
magical
think about-
starfield, and it
saw
too
about
appeared.
defying
It was so
gravity.
much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up.
Ironically,
How was he
yesterday I
remaining
heard
so
a lot of
lucid?
people.
And then
I heard
perhaps
a lot
the
of
strangest
kids
question of them
sing
all
about defying
entered Stanley's
gravity.
head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked
This is
himself
pretty
sooner.
ironic.
Why is there a voice in my head
Yeah.
dictating everything that I'm doing and
Why
thinking?
is there?
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts.
Don't think about anything weird. Don't
And
think
while he
about
thought it all
anything weird. Don't
very
think
odd,
about
and
anything
wondered
weird.
if
Don't
this
think
voice
about
spoke to
anything
all
weird. Don't
people
think
in their
about
dreams,
anything weird.
the
Don't think
truth
about
was that, of
anything weird.
course, this was not a dream.
Make sure
How could it
no
be?
one is
Was
watching.
Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt,
Yeah,
that this
yeah.
was in fact a
This
dream.
is a
Did the
dream,
voice
right?
not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the
Is
voice
this a
explain
dream?
all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control. That this was a dream.
I'm in control.
So
You know,
he
I mean.
closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back,
Wake up!
the fresh air of the world inside his mind.
wake up, wake up,
Let
wake
me
up,
wake up,
wake up, wake
he
up,
thought to
wake up,
himself.
wake up, wake up.
I'm through with this dream.
Wake
I
up,
wish it to be over.
wake up,
Let me
wake
go
up,
back to my job.
wake up, wake
Let me
up,
continue
wake
pushing
up,
the buttons.
wake up,
Please.
wake up,
It's
wake
all
up,
I want.
wake up, wake
I
up,
want my
wake up,
apartment
wake
and
up,
my wife
wake up,
and my
wake up,
job.
wake up,
All I
wake up,
want is my
wake
life
up,
exactly
wake up,
the way it's
wake
always
up,
been.
wake up, wake up,
My life
wake
is
up,
normal.
wake up, wake
I
up,
am normal.
wake up, wake up,
Everything
wake
will
up,
be fine.
wake up, wake up, wake up,
I
wake up,
am
wake up,
okay.
wake up. I am okay.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I'm real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance,
Schizophrenia.
for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
Stop roasting me.
Then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career.
Don't please
and by
others.
extension, the rest of her life.
Don't please others.
She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Selfish.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult.
I'm actually get down there about dying
The
once.
story has been about
I went there and there
nothing
was
but
like
you
music. I
all this
went to that
time.
glowing
There's someone you've
doorway
been
which
neglecting,
that truck
Stanley.
down there is facing.
Someone you've forgotten
There was
about.
music.
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
Really?
To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Okay.
She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
No.
Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
Okay.
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Of course.
Gotcha.
Of course.
Oh, come on.
Of course.
Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their
Why-
life to you?
I'm
trying to make a point here,
Why was I
Stanley.
so
I'm trying to
delusional?
get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
I wish I wasn't so delusional.
Sorry, but you're in my
Hey.
story now.
Can you let me have a moment to myself? Fine.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
I'm gonna die alone.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
doing exactly what I'm told to do,
Now
because
he's
that's the
pushing
only
a
thing I
button.
ever exist
Now
for.
he's eating lunch. Now he's going
This
home.
is the only thing I'll ever
Now
exist for.
he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Yeah, he did. He did choose this life.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Yep.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
He'll never
First, he
find
imagined
anyone.
that one day,
He'll
while
just
at work,
repeat the
he
same
stepped
loop
up from his
again and
desk
again
to
for the rest
realize
of
that
his life.
all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
It did.
So he went further.
Time with the
He
boys.
imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even
Something we
mattered
all wish
what
we
lay
could
behind
have.
each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Yeah.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby.
Wait, what?
And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed.
Yeah,
The longer he
you're right.
spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. He
That's
won't
like
listen
Zen.
to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Incredible.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
maybe
he had
one more
simply
ending.
missed a memo.
Then I'm probably gonna end it off here.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Because I'm getting a bit bored and...
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible.
Yes, I am.
He didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
This is mid. Get some electronic on. Like vaporwave.
Feeling
this is what you consider music.
Stanley
so generic.
Into the opened passageway.
It could also be like Radiohead.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Very tempting. Anyways.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to fight? Aha!
What?
You've made it to the bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Welcome! You see, back
what
when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013,
what did I do?
Getting to the bottom of the Mind Control Facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control.
I was gonna stay traditional after that elevator thing ending.
Isn't that what you crave? New content. Always more content, more content, more.
Yeah.
And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section.
Really?
You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Well, that certainly gets the message across. Woo!
Good job. You did it.
You did it. Good job.
Good job.
Oh.
3, 2, 1. Good job. You
made it to the bottom of the mind control facility.
jumped
jumped on the catwalk.
You should have
You've
been
been
careful.
careful.
Should
Should
have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier. Chase your dreams. But railings don't mean anything. Good job,
No,
you did it.
Good job, you did it.
Good
Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it.
Good
Good job, you did it. 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 Good job. Woo! 10 out of 10 track.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wait, what? What's this? Hello? What? Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either.
Yeah.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Well, that's cruel.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets. The keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Kill Supremes.
Ah, jeez. He's really getting tired of it.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Okay.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
Yeah.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
This feels very weird. Oh. The copy machine! Look, I'd actually kind of like to see that. I think that'd be funny, for me at least. That doesn't look as nice. Ah. Hmm. I'd actually be curious to see how some of these things would be turned out if they continued with the development of some of these endings, like the alien one. I kind of want to see that. Maybe an alternate universe. Ah. Hmm. Yeah. I wonder what was the beta version. Okay, anyways, I think I've spent over like 4 minutes exploring this place. So I should probably get up and leave soon and get crushed by those things. And get crushed by those metal jaws.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another.
Feels
How
like
they
Minecraft
wish to
multiplayer
control one
sometimes when you play
another.
with the right people.
How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Yeah.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation.
No.
There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward,
I need
you can walk someone
content.
else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let
Time choose for me. Okay, one more ending.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
He's just tired of it. He's just tired of it at this point, and I don't blame him. I've went down here so many times. I've taken the elevator so many times. I don't blame him. Honestly.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Who wants their story to be ruined by a man who can't even follow commandments?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yeah, I mean...
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley...
That's called security in case anyone breaks into the building.
Meant nothing.
You know, I feel like this would be pretty good for court cases. Five Nights at Freddy's hard mode.
This mind control facility, it was
I can
too
imagine
horrible to believe
a Five Nights at Freddy's world where you just had to look all around these cameras and try and find where the animatronics are.
Boring job that his emotions have been manipulated
that'd
to
be a really
accept
funny
it blindly.
mod. Like, you know, where you just have to look around and be
he
like
refused
this.
to believe it. He couldn't
I feel like
accept
that'd be really
it. His
funny
own life
and very
in someone
frustrating.
else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
I wonder if anyone could actually
Wasn't
beat
it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content.
1980,
Walking, eating,
1984,
working,
baby.
all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the
Yep,
controls,
I want
did you?
power.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for
Yep.
yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yep.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode,
Really?
eliminating the entire complex.
You're just gonna kill everyone
How long until
over a
detonation
button.
then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing.
Yeah.
Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first,
feels like
so
Macbeth.
you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stan.
Try and get control.
That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be
let's
laughing
do
at every
it one
second of
last
your
time.
inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
Okay, that's gonna be all for today.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
To be continued.